I'm a qualified level 3 nail tech. I've done over tens of thousands of manicures, and today I'm going to be showing you the exact steps to get the perfect dip powder manicure. I'm Alex Zaman. I'm currently the salon educator at Sassy Saints. I've helped over hundreds of thousands of women achieve salon quality dip nails from home through my educational videos. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how to do it. I'll also share some common mistakes to avoid so you can achieve the perfect dip manicure. It doesn't matter if you're a complete beginner or you've done many dip powder sets. If you apply the steps I'm teaching today, you'll be able to achieve the perfect at-home dip manicure with results lasting over 3 weeks. So if you've got your kit ready, this is the perfect time to do your nails alongside me. Let's get started. Before we begin, make sure you haven't washed your hands, applied any moisturizer or cuticle oil for at least 60 minutes, as moisture can affect how long your manicure lasts. First things first, you want to file your nails into your desired length and shape using the soft logo side of the nail file. You want to make sure to file in long motions, tilting the file at an angle just under the free edge. This doesn't have to be a lengthy process if you're not planning on changing up the length. But if your nails have grown out quite a bit longer and you do want to take down the length, then I would recommend using nail clippers to help you along. Then you can switch to filing in your desired shape. But if you're like me and you want to keep the length, then you should always be checking your nails from multiple angles to achieve an even, consistent shape. Now gently push back your cuticles using your prep tool, applying a light pressure as you work your way around. The goal here is to tease up any overgrown cuticle without being too aggressive. How much you need to remove will vary from person to person, depending on how often you maintain your manicures. But no matter what, proper prep is essential for a long-lasting manicure, and if you're skipping this step, then lifting becomes a guarantee. Next, using the pointy end of your prep tool, go in and remove any stubborn dead tissue from the nail plate, working in small sections, really taking your time, as this is a crucial part. Why? Because any leftover cuticle or dead skin on the nail can create a barrier between your natural nail and the product, and if I was to leave that behind, my manicure would absolutely start lifting way sooner than it should. Now, just following the same steps, I go nail by nail, pushing back the cuticle and lifting any residue that may be stuck on the nail plate. I like to use a back and forth motion, working in small sections, making sure everything is fully prepped before moving on. Okay, so once I'm happy with prep, I give my prep tool a clean off with a dry, clean, lint-free wipe. I then take my powder brush and dust everything off. So why a powder brush instead of just using my fingers? Because our fingertips hold a lot of natural oils. So if we touch the clean nail plate with oily fingers, it can create a barrier between the nail and the product, which could lead to lifting. So from here on out, hands off. Let the brush do the work. Next, with a light pressure, gently buff the entire nail plate using the soft side of the file. I start at the cuticle and work my way to the free edge, making sure I've removed all the shine, not forgetting down the side walls and around my cuticle area. Why is this step so important? Because any shine left behind can prevent the dip from properly adhering, which could lead to lifting. But here's the key: avoid over-filing. If we buff too aggressively, you'll thin out the natural nails, which could make them weak and prone to breakage. Then finish by brushing away any excess dust with our powder brush. Finally, if you're using a primer, apply a thin layer to all your nails for maximum durability. This product will cleanse the nails of any oils or anything else left on the nail that could cause premature lifting. This is where the magic happens. The secret to a long-lasting dip powder manicure is thin, even layers. Wherever you apply basic, the powder will stick, so be controlled and precise. The shade I'm using is Pearly Persuader, a gorgeous neutral pinky tone that's perfect if you're not looking for anything too bright but is still opaque. Here's how it looks once applied. Such a beautiful soft shade. Before we start dipping, it's important to stir the powder first using your clean prep tool. This will help to break up any clumps and ensure for a smooth, even application. Skipping this step can lead to a patchy, uneven coverage. My pro tip would be to have everything set up before moving on to the application steps. I've got my basic bottle, a clean prep tool, my chosen colour and a paper towel to wipe my brush off onto. We are ready to go. Now, picking up basic, swirl the brush in the neck of the bottle to remove any excess product. This helps prevent any flooding cuticles and ensures a thin, even application. So I like to start my brush right about here and offload the majority of the liquid. Now we can tease the tip of the brush closer to the cuticle line. Then I go around my side walls, making sure I don't get the product on my skin. If we were to start with the brush super close up to the cuticle area, all of the excess liquid could end up running into our skin. I also have both arms resting on my desk, which helps give better stability. And once I'm done, I wipe off my brush on the paper towel before putting it back into the bottle. This prevents any excess products from building up and thickening the base coat over time. Immediately dip the nail into the powder at an angle, fully covering the whole nail. Then tap off any excess. Once that's done, it's time for cleanup. Take your cuticle pusher and go around the edges to remove any excess product. This step isn't just for looks. It's crucial for making sure nothing is touching the skin. Why? Because if any product is sitting on the cuticle area or the side walls, it creates a weak spot where lifting will start. Lifting is one of the most common problems beginners face, so taking a few extra seconds means your product will last way longer. I'm making sure I'm covering the entire nail plate with an even consistency. Notice how I'm not moving too slowly either, because remember, base coat dries quickly, so if we take too long, we might end up with an uneven coverage or a patchy adhesion. Pro tip: when it comes to the application, you want to work with the nails pointing slightly downwards. This will help us keep better control and stability over the liquid brush placement, so it doesn't flood the cuticle area. Also, don't be afraid to go slow. Remember, this is YouTube. I have the ability to speed up the process and edit things out, so please don't feel like you're taking a long time. And if you're a new face here and you're new to our Sassy Saints community, welcome, but please don't feel like you're taking forever. Getting to grips with dip powder is a real skill and takes practice to get even faster with every manicure. Now, if you notice any areas of the nail looking wet at this stage, don't worry, you can simply re-dip, but don't add any more base coat. It just means that part of the nail needs a little more powder to fully absorb the liquid. It is super important. If the powder isn't completely dry, the activator, which hardens everything, won't be able to penetrate properly later on. So this could result in layers that are not fully set, leading to a weak, crumbly manicure. Okay, following the same steps, I go nail by nail. As you can see, it's just a very simple process of basic followed by dip. I don't want to bore you guys, so I did speed it up a little bit, but it's just the same thing, wiping my brush off to prevent any contamination and slowly guiding it into the jar, tapping off any excess powder, and again on the next finger. A lot of people ask if dip powder weakens your nails. The truth is, it's actually one of the gentler options, especially if you prep and remove it correctly. Now we're going to build up some strength by adding 3 more layers of base and dip. This is where we really start to build the strength and durability, so take your time and follow along with me. Now onto layer number 2, using the exact same steps as before, starting by removing any excess product, then offloading the liquid onto the middle of the nail, guiding the excess liquid closer towards the cuticle area, then working my way out towards the side walls, avoid touching the skin. Finally capping the free edge, making sure it's sealed to prevent lifting or chipping, as this is the part which comes into contact with things the most. Then making sure again I'm wiping off my brush on the paper towel before returning it to the bottle. So after tapping off the excess powder, I'm going to clean up around my cuticles and follow the same steps on the next nail. So now I want to show you guys what happens if I don't have enough product on my brush. You'll see I quickly start to run out of product and my bristles start to drag. So before I go to grab some more product, always wipe off the brush before putting it back into the bottle to prevent any contamination issues. Then we need to work on covering the sides again and capping the free edge. Now we can dip, tap off and clean up with the pointy end of the prep tool and follow the same steps on my next finger. Another Another question I get, can you mix dip powders together? Absolutely. You can even layer different colours to create your custom shades. Okay, let's go in with our third layer. This layer adds some extra strength and also allows us to see the proper pigment of the colour come through. Added strength is super important, especially if you have thinner nails or tend to experience chipping. Pro tip, from experience, Basic doesn't like to be overworked, so try covering the entire nail plate in a few thin, even strokes. And not forgetting to finish by capping the free edge. Now dip into the powder and tap off the excess. If you start seeing some bulk around the sides, remember to take the cuticle pusher and lightly clean up around those edges before Basic dries. So if you're not new to dipping and you've tried it and realised you're having rippling or maybe even thick clumps, then this could be due to having too much product on the brush or even the way that you're dipping into the powder. So it may be beneficial for you to try and remove any excess products from your brush. This way you'll work with better control over it. And you could possibly try to switch up the way you're dipping. Instead, try the pour over method for a more even distribution of the powder to cover the whole nail. Just let me know in the comments if you'd find a video on this helpful. Time for our fourth and final layer, ensuring our nails are strong, durable and long lasting. By now your nails should start to look a little bit thicker. This is completely normal, but if they're looking a little too bulky, don't worry, as we'll be filing everything into our perfect shape soon enough. Applying that thin, even layer of Basic, making sure to cap the free edge. This helps prevent any chipping and keeps your manicure intact. Dipping into the powder one last time, tapping off any excess. Remembering to dust off any excess powder with your powder brush. Check in around those cuticles. If you see any product sitting on the skin, clean it up now, as it makes it much easier to fix at this stage than dealing with any lifting later on. With our fourth base and dip layer complete, we're officially done with Basic. Now let's talk about cleanup. So before closing the bottle, take your paper towel to remove any excess product. Why is this so important? If any leftover product builds up and you tighten the lid, it could cause the bottle to seal shut, which is a nightmare to open later. Plus, build-up can lead to contamination. So always keep that rim clean before putting your bottles away.
Now it's time to lock in our manicure. Activator hardens the powder and makes your nails chip resistant.
Now I'm going to be swapping out Basic for Activator. I've got my new clean paper towel ready. We're going to apply a very generous layer to all of our nails. This product is what hardens the base and dip layers so we can file in a nice shape. Making sure you've covered all the areas of the nail, ensuring that you've capped the free edge. Not forgetting to wipe off my brush on the paper towel before returning it to the bottle, as this is what will help prevent contamination. So once you've applied a generous layer of Activator to all your nails, ensuring that you've capped the free edge, now we can set a timer for 2 minutes and wait for them to harden and dry fully. I'd then like to tap on my nail and see if I can hear a hollow sound. Then I know it's ready to be shaped. When filing your dip powder enhancement, I always recommend using the softer grit side. So the side with the logo for shaping the dip powder. The coarser side we should only really be using to remove the bulk when we're soaking in acetone. Pro tip, before you start filing, it's a good idea to blunt off the edges of the nail file so that they're not too sharp. You can do this by rubbing the edge of the file against another file a few times. This prevents accidentally cutting into the skin around the side walls. A simple step, but makes a huge difference, and won't hinder how effective your file is, as we don't use the sides, we only use the centre. I begin filing at my free edge, very lightly, as we don't want to be breaking that seal. When it comes to shaping, I take it slow and steady. The one thing I always remind myself is that we can't put the product back, so you don't want to remove too much at one time. I'm always stopping and keep looking from different angles to make sure I'm happy with them. So once I've cleaned up all the free edge, I then start to go around my side walls so I can taper it back in and cut down some of the bulk. Then, once I'm happy with that, I go around my cuticle area and back down the other side. This is going to help blend down some of the product so that we don't have any ridges whilst maintaining the strength in the centre of the nail. It's also really important how you hold the file, making sure that you're angling it down. Also, can you see how I'm placing my thumb protecting the skin around the nail? And don't worry if you're going really slow at first. Once you build up the confidence and you get used to the file, over time you will get quicker at this step. Then running the file across the entire top surface of the nail to make sure I have a nice even finish. We always want to keep the majority of the product here to make sure the stress area is protected. I keep following the same steps, going nail by nail. And here's how they look once I'm done. Once I'm happy with them, I give them a good dusting off to remove any excess filings. Now is a good time to just stop and reevaluate. Give them a good once over, making sure they're nice and smooth and I haven't missed anything, as this is your chance to clean them all up and really look over them before we go on to our next step. Now picking up step 2 again, activate it. I've got a clean paper towel ready. I'm going to apply another generous layer of this to all of my nails, remembering to wipe my brush off on my paper towel before placing it back into the bottle. This will prevent the brush from hardening and the liquid becoming contaminated. Repeat on all nails. Then let the nails dry for 2 minutes. This second coat ensures that your nails have fully hardened and long lasting. Once the timer goes off after the full 2 minutes and your nails appear fully dry, take a clean paper towel and rub it across the entire nail surface of all your nails. This will double check that there's no leftover Activator which could contaminate your top hit brush. Okay, we're at the finishing steps. Apply your top coat to seal everything in and give you that beautiful long-lasting shine. Before I start, I've got a new clean paper towel ready. This is really important to have handy because every time my brush touches the nail, I'm going to wipe off any excess products before putting it back into the bottle. This helps prevent contamination, which could cause the liquids to thicken or even make your brush hard over time. Now for the first layer of top coat. I'm going to remove any excess products from my brush again and apply it with a very light pressure. You really don't need much product here, just a thin, even layer. And you don't want to aim for any more than 4 to 5 strokes. Just like basic, it also doesn't like to be overworked. Start in the center of the nail, offloading the majority of the product in the middle and then edging out closer to the cuticle. Gently glide it down towards the tip in one smooth stroke. Then working out to each side, carefully covering the nail without flooding the cuticle or touching the skin, and finish off by sealing up the free edge. immediately wipe the brush off on the paper towel before dipping it back into the bottle. So you might feel like the first coat doesn't look very shiny yet. This is totally normal. It's more of a foundation layer and we'll perfect it with our second coat. The key is to make sure I don't get any of this on my skin. Remember, always wipe off your brush on that paper towel before returning it back into the bottle.
So once I'm done with all nails, I want to wait 3 minutes until applying my second coat.
Now for the second layer, and this time we're going to be more detailed and precise. Always removing the excess product in the neck of the bottle, starting in the center of the nail, offloading the majority of the liquid here, taking that smooth stroke through the center of the nail, then carefully one stroke down each side, not coming into contact with the skin, always capping the free edge. So this means running the brush lightly across the very tip of the nail to seal everything in. Capping the free edge will help prevent chipping, so it's a really important step. It can be as simple as accidentally touching the brush with your skin, which could cause premature lifting. It's really important to have good liquid control and brush control all the way through the application process. Resting your hand on anything that you can help stabilize it, and really pay attention to where you're placing the brush. Once again, wiping the brush off on the paper towel before dipping it back into the bottle to avoid contamination. If you ever notice your top coat getting thick and sticky and your brush becoming stiff, this is usually caused by liquid contamination. So always make it a habit to wipe off your brush in between dips.
Now we're going to let the top coat dry completely for 3 minutes.
If you accidentally touch it too soon, it might dull the shine, so be patient and allow it to fully set. Once dry, I always apply cuticle oil to hydrate my nails and keep everything looking fresh. Cuticle oil is great for nourishing the skin around the nails and preventing any dryness. Just a tiny drop on each nail and then gently massage it in.
I just want to recap on some common issues and how we can fix them. To avoid chips and cracks, cap the free edge with every step. Build up a minimum of 4 layers for extra strength. Struggling with premature lifting, always ensure the nails are oil-free and avoid applying the base coat touching the cuticle or the skin. Too thick application, be sure to apply thin layers and file to address any bumps. If your brush is hardening, wipe the brush on some paper towel after each nail. And that's it. You successfully mastered the perfect dip powder manicure at home. If you found this tutorial helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to us for more beauty tips. Let me know in the comments how your nails turned out and which tutorial you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching.